You're listening to another episode of the Just Go Bike podcast, powered by RAGBRAI. This is the award-winning podcast where we are all about the culture of cycling, just for the fun of it. Your hosts are Murph from the Murphology podcast and AP from Parrot Talk. With tales from all over the nation, come for the bikes, stay for the fun, and leave with a smile. And now here is Murph.
Hey, that's me.
And AP.
Hey, that's me. Hi, Murph.
Hey, AP, what's shaking?
Well, we recently launched some new spring merch, and it's been pretty busy over here at RAGBRAI.
You know, I saw that on the interwebs and on social media, and I'm pretty sure I saw a shirt with a pig on it. Was that your doing?
Well, no, but I did vote on it among the many other options of T-shirts that we had. And you know I love pigs, so I made a good case for it.
Yeah. So, okay, you guys, I'm sure a lot of listeners already saw this, but you guys did something fun with, at least with the women's tank, asking for the public to pick the design, which I thought was so cool.
Yeah.
Side note, you guys did end up picking the ones that I voted
very good.
for, but like, how did that work?
Well, so this year we're doing a new woman's tank top from Primal. In the past, we'd done one called the Gemini tank.
Yeah.
And now we've moved to a slightly different tank top design called the Astera tank. And it's still a cycling tank. It's still got the pockets in the back. But the main difference is, well, a little bit different in the cut. But the main difference is that it doesn't have the built-in bra.
Oh.
So it's a little bit more comfortable to wear. You can wear it with whatever undergarments you want.
Sure.
And so it fits more comfortably for women. So that's where we decided on the like style.
Yeah.
But then with the contest, we had done something similar in the past, but never to this extent. Mm-hmm. But the main reason we did it is because our graphic designer, Kim Sharp-Leba, she made so many cool designs, we couldn't decide. We literally couldn't decide.
Right.
So we said, well, heck, let's let the people decide.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it all came about. And so, you know, it takes a lot more to do a contest than you would think because you have to tally up every single vote on every single platform. And I kind of forgot about that when we set it up, but it all turned out great. And yeah, we picked the geometric rooster one and the one with the little skeletons riding bikes, which was kind of a surprise to us.
Which I think you called Skelly?
Yeah, Skelly Girl. Yeah,
I loved that one.
So,
yeah.
I mean, they're very cute. It wasn't a surprise in that they were all awesome, but I kind of thought one with the flower ones would win.
Yeah.
So,
well, it goes without saying, we're going to have to get matching. We have
absolutely.
to. We have to.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to vote.
Oh, vote on what we're going to wear?
Yeah.
Or what we're going to buy?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. And speaking of new merch, the Just Go Bike shirts have arrived.
I am so excited. And on a side note, you know, today's interview, we're going to talk about in a little bit, but he arrived here at Parrot Talk Studios wearing his Just Go Bike shirt. And then he disclosed he bought more than one.
That's amazing, Scott. You're the best.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say, I've just went on vacation, so my Just Go Bike podcast shirt has seen Arkansas and Missouri.
Very good. And
Yeah.
I saw in some photos that you sent me that your Just Go Bike Crocs also saw.
That's right. They went straight to Oaklawn Racetrack, for better or for worse. Got a lot of racetrack dirt in my shoes on that one, but
oh, man.
You got to represent.
You got to represent, yeah.
So, yeah.
So we are at the point, it's the end of March, and more exciting news besides all the spring merch, the full route gets released very, very, very soon.
That's right. It is the end of March now, so just around the corner, we'll be releasing the full route. And I was just working with my coworker, Corey Much, who is one of our other graphic designers, and making sure that I have all the material for it. So it's pretty exciting.
Very cool. And of course, like we've done in years past, some of our most popular episodes are about this, but we'll be doing a deep dive episode with ride director Matt Phippen. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the here and now. What's on deck for today's episode?
All right. Well, I know you already know, and I assume most people who listen to this podcast have seen on social media the very cool updates with the Dream Team.
Yeah, it was such a cool story, so amazing. The director of the Dream Team, our friend Scott Matter, was recently on the Kelly Clarkson Show with a couple of Dream Teamers.
Yes, he came in for, we did our podcast interview recently, and he was wearing his Kelly Clarkson hat along with his Just Go Bike t-shirt. So it was really cool. Yeah. So Scott is on the show today. I interview him. He shares behind the scenes of being on a national show. And then also he's got some really cool updates on what's happening with the Dream Team.
Wow. Yeah. He and the team have been doing some really wonderful things with the Dream Team. It's hard to keep up, but it's just really, really, really exciting. I can't wait to hear. And I did also hear, I want to put in a little plug that I heard that the Dream Team podcast moving forward is going to be starting up very soon. So you can keep up with more of their stuff there after you listen to this episode.
All right, let's get to it. Very warm welcome to Mr. Scott Matter. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Murph. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's fun to have you here in the podcast studio. And like AP and I mentioned, you are the executive director for the Dream Team. So it's nice to have you back on.
Thanks for having me. I always enjoy coming on the Just Go Bike podcast. I feel like it's the best possible way for us to talk to our bigger biking family.
Yes, yes. And those of you out there listening that have done RAGBRAI multiple times, hopefully you've seen members of the Dream Team out on the RAGBRAI route. They have really cool jerseys that sometimes they have flags on the back of their bikes, right? Mm-hmm. And actually, I don't know if you do it every year, but I've seen them in tutus occasionally.
We always celebrate Tutu Tuesday during RAGBRAI.
Okay. Wait, so do you wear a tutu as well on that day?
Every mentor wears one, and every member of the team. I don't always make it the entire day with it. Sometimes it gets left in the meeting town, but I try to.
Awesome. Well, it's an exciting day to talk about some pretty cool events that have been happening with the Dream Team. But before we get into that, will you remind the listeners what the Dream Team is?
Yeah, absolutely. The Dream Team is an all-volunteer nonprofit organization that mentors youth. Mm-hmm. We work with youth between the ages of 12 and 18 here in central Iowa each year. All of our activity revolves around bicycling, and our 5 very challenging months of training culminates with RAGBRAI at the end of July.
So these kids are doing so much more than just training to ride across Iowa in July.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, everybody thinks of us as a biking organization, and
mm-hmm.
we are that. But what we're really about is helping these young people develop self-confidence, providing them a roadmap, a process, if you will, that allows them to accomplish their biggest dreams, and then hopefully as they mature, as they grow up, apply that process to doing anything they want to do in life.
Mm-hmm. I've shared this on the podcast before, but I was at a restaurant. I believe I was in Kansas City, and I had on a RAGBRAI sweatshirt. And some person who was in the restaurant eating as well took the time to come up to me and say, I got to ride RAGBRAI as part of an organization called Dream Team. And of course, I knew right away what Dream Team was. It was so cool, and it meant so much to him.
You know, for our kids, some of them don't necessarily want to be on the team when they join. Maybe a parent or a counselor, somebody kind of twisted their arm.
Yeah.
Maybe they need help socializing, or they've never done any outdoor activity really in their lives. But at some point during our season, usually it's during April and May, but sometimes it doesn't happen until June, the Dream Team becomes all important to them. It becomes
mm-hmm.
The thing that they're most proud of in life. It's, in some cases, it might be the first big win that they've ever had, mm-hmm. and they just become so proud of being a member of this team.
That's awesome. So this podcast will be airing the end of March of 2025. So maybe get us up to date on what happens this time of year with the team.
Sure. We started training in early March, first week of March, and we've been at the downtown YMCA here in Des Moines for the past few weeks. We have our last training session tomorrow night, and then we'll start riding outside. We started the year with 65 youth. That's our biggest team that we've ever had. That's 38% more youth on this year's team than our biggest team ever, which was the previous year. So we have a lot. And then our mentors are the secret ingredient that makes our program work. We have 62 mentors.
Wow.
A lot of those mentors are giving 15, 20 hours a week to Dream Team over the next 5 months. So that's our biggest class of mentors as well.
And they're all volunteers, right?
All of them volunteer. Most of them, we have a few that are retired like myself, but most of them have full-time jobs. So they are racing from their work to launch our rides on Monday and Thursday nights at 5 o'clock. They spend almost all Saturday with us, and they're doing that over the course of 5 months.
Wow.
So we've been at the downtown Y for the last few weeks. Saturday, and usually we lose a few youth during that first few weeks. Mm-hmm. We started March with 65 youth, and I'm so proud that we are ending March this week with 65 members of the team.
Nice.
That is amazing. We're also really proud that this is the most diverse team in our history. We're always probably the most diverse team out there during RAGBRAI, but we have really done a great job of recruiting kids this season. We have 2 girls that are from Afghanistan. We have kids from Mexico. We have a young woman that's a young member of the team who's from Tanzania. We've really reached out and recruited in places that we haven't been to previously, or at least for several years. So we're really proud of that too.
And we were talking before we push record, some of these youth have never been on a bicycle before, right?
Yeah, I know that we have several members of the team who have never had a bicycle. We definitely have at least 6, and it might be a couple more of those, or there's probably several more of those that have just recently learned, like maybe in the last few days with their families. But we definitely have 6 that do not know how to ride. So when we start riding on Saturday outside, we have a mentor and one of our older members of the team that are assigned to each of them to help them get rolling over these next couple weeks.
So if you think about this literally, you're taking a young person and going from doesn't know how to ride a bike to riding their bike across Iowa. That's amazing.
Can you imagine that? First of all, I think it just takes a lot of courage and a lot of our kids this year, our team is much younger than it's been in the past too. We have a lot of 12-year-olds on this team. And I think it takes a lot of courage for them to walk into an organization with 64 other kids their age, a room full of mentors who they've never met before. That in itself takes a lot of courage. And then add on top of the fact that they're signing up to do with an organization that expects them and is going to try to help them ride 450 miles across the state of Iowa in July.
Yeah.
And they have a secret that they're probably embarrassed about at their age because with their peers, not knowing how to ride a bike as a teenager, you can see why they'd be a little self-conscious about that. But to have the courage to join our team, knowing you don't know how to ride a bike, I think that's just off the charts amazing.
Yeah, the whole thing is amazing. What's the age range of the youth that are part of Dream Team?
So our youngest members of the team are just 12 years old. They're in 7th grade. And we have a lot of middle schoolers on this team. And then they can keep coming back until they're 18. Most of our youth do return. We have 20. The way it breaks out this year is we have 40 new members of the team, and we have 25 returning members. You know, as we've put a new process in place or something new in place with the team this year. With all of our returning kids, we've offered them the chance to be junior mentors, and we've basically started the Dream Team version of a leadership institute.
Oh, okay.
So the word of the year for our 25 returning youth is leadership.
Nice.
And each of those junior mentors has a job that they're responsible. Some of them are on our social team. So their job before we launch each evening is to make sure that they reach out and connect with 6 new members of the team and just see how they're doing, encourage them. But they all have different tasks like that. And what we want to do with those returning kids is help them develop leadership skills that will pay off later in life.
I can't get over the fact that, even as a grown adult, walking into a place where you don't know anybody, how that feels. Oh my gosh, do I just start talking to somebody? I don't know. I'm going to go sit by myself. I'm going to go check it out. Where here you've got a 12-year-old who's amongst 60 other kids, and somehow you're helping them feel welcome, and they want to keep coming back.
So we really try to March is about helping to facilitate that process. We do a lot of team building work at the Y. In fact, the most fun part of each one of our workouts in March is that we do a team building exercise where the kids literally have to lean on each other in some way to get through the exercise. And those kids that are really nervous or having trouble making friends, socially awkward, if you will, it's fun to watch as we go week by week how they come out of their shells.
Sure, yeah.
And start making friends, and you start seeing more smiles. So it's all about getting the team to start to come together as one unit.
I love it.
You know, we had an event in January, and we called that campaign "It Takes a Village" campaign. we're well known, I think, amongst the RAGBRAI cyclists and the cycling community here. They are almost like an extended family for us. But we didn't have a lot of support when it comes to and a lot of them volunteer, thankfully, and become our mentors. But it does take $5,100 to be exact to get each of our kids through one season of Dream Team. So
per youth.
Right.
Wow.
So you can do the math. Like just having 18 more kids than we had last year means we need to come up with another $90,000 to pay for that. Remember the team. So we don't focus on that a lot or talk about that a lot. But man, we are doing everything we can to welcome the support of the cycling community. Mm-hmm. More than 25 cycling teams stepped up and helped with our event in January. A lot of those teams all those teams would reach out to the members of their team. And so we would get 20 or 30 contributions from Black Betty or the Tall Dogs, groups like that. And that went a long way to helping us fund the team this year. We really appreciate it. We are doing another event, It Takes a Village event on June 28th. And we're looking for cycling teams. I know Velarosa is helping us out quite a bit with already, or they're planning to, but we're looking for other teams that will help out with that effort around June 28th. And we're going to make it a fun day. It's basically going to be a precursor to RAGBRAI. We've got a dunk tank booked, and we're looking for RAGBRAI vendors to come and serve food that day. It'll be a fun afternoon.
Cool. So at the end of this podcast, I want to make sure we mention, how if you're a cycling team, maybe you're not in the Des Moines area and you want to help out the Dream Team, we'll make sure that we put that in the show notes, but also have you mention it at the end. But okay, we have to talk about something amazing that recently happened. And people out there that have done RAGBRAI, that follow social media, hopefully have seen what happened. But you and a couple of Dream Teamers, in my opinion, had a once-in-a-lifetime experience in New York. So, and people can't see us here in the podcast studio, but you're wearing a hat that is going to tell, if they could see you, it says the Kelly Clarkson Show.
Yeah, I'm very proud of my Kelly Clarkson hat.
This is so cool. So you have to, tell us all about it.
Yeah, let me take you through a little bit. It was a once in a lifetime experience. So a year ago, one of the senior producers, who happens to live in California, came out to Iowa in late July and did RAGBRAI.
Oh, really?
Had the time of his life with his friends, teammates from California. And during that week, came across the Dream Team and was so inspired by meeting some of our kids that when they were planning out this next season, the 7th season of the Kelly Clarkson Show, which, by the way, is the number 2 rated daytime TV show in America.
Wow.
We were the first guests they booked and we've been talking with them for months, for this 7th season. And I got to travel to New York last week with 2 members of our team, Jeremiah and Ennovy, and their parents. Neither of them had ever been to New York, and to get to see New York through their eyes was pretty amazing. We did some really fun things, like we visited Central Park. They saw Hamilton on Broadway.
Wow.
They became pretty proficient at getting across New York on the subway. But the big moment was on Wednesday afternoon when we went to 30 Rockefeller Center to be on the Kelly Clarkson Show. We taped in Studio 6A, which is right across the hallway from the Tonight Show, which was taping at the same time.
No way.
When the kids entered that iconic entrance to 30 Rockefeller Center that you see on Saturday Night Live intro most years, the paparazzi was waiting for them, and they were clicking away on our kids as they entered. And then when they got to their dressing rooms, they had their names and lights on the door. They kind of chilled for a bit before they got taken to hair and makeup to get ready to go on the show.
No way.
Pretty surreal experience.
Wow. Give us some, a little bit of scoop of, what happened when you were on the set. Tell us about the host. What did they talk about? What did they ask? Was there a studio audience? I want to feel like I was there.
It was pretty cool. First of all, the producers, we worked with 3 different producers at the Kelly Clarkson Show, and they were amazing at working with the kids, help them kind of get their heads around the stories that they were going to tell. They gave me a chance to come out for a few minutes and talk with the host for that day was Andy Cohen. Mm-hmm. People know from the Housewives franchise on Bravo TV. And he has a couple kids of his own, and he was really amazing with us. But the first chance was to go out and just kind of explain or talk with the national audience and inform them about RAGBRAI and what RAGBRAI is, and to give them a little bit of back knowledge on our team. And then at the first commercial break, we had Jeremiah and Ennovy come out, and they got to talk about their experience on Dream Team, what it's meant for them, and how it's led to transforming their lives.
So this may age me a little bit, but I'm thinking back to a fun show called The Brady Bunch, and Cindy Brady had to go on TV for some reason. And, that was when they had the huge TV camera. Do you remember the scene?
No.
Okay, huge TV camera, and it had a big light on the top. And once the light flicked on, then whoever was going to be on TV knew that they were live on TV. And I think back then it was live.
So there was a studio audience that day.
Yeah.
Several hundred people in the audience. We had some friends, one of our board members, a former mentor. Shout out to Tammy and to Jen, and then a couple of my friends were in the audience. It was really kind of reassuring to look up and see our friends there, but there were several hundred people in the audience, and we could see ourselves on the monitors. We were out there with them. So Ennovy and Jeremiah in fact, Jeremiah we celebrated his 15th birthday the night before in New York at one of my favorite restaurants, but both of them are 15 years old.
Wow.
Jeremiah goes to Bondurant Farrar High School. Ennovy is a sophomore at Lincoln High School. They were so relaxed, so chill, that it made it a lot easier for myself just because seeing how amazing that they were. And I don't think I kept trying to fill our schedule in the 24 hours leading up to the show because I didn't want them to get nervous and to start obsessing about how it was going to go. And they were the most helping people prepare for interviews is something that I've done in my career professionally. I've never seen two more relaxed people than Jeremiah and Ennovy going out to hit a home run on national TV.
And have they been, both of those kids or both of those youth, have they been part of the Dream Team in the past?
So Jeremiah is starting his second year on the team.
Okay.
And the show wanted us to bring a new member of the team who's just starting out this year, and that's Ennovy. Ennovy she's in the Dream to Teach program at Lincoln High School, and she's undecided whether she wants to go into healthcare or into nursing or something in the medical field. Jeremiah, we joke with Jeremiah that he has the 28-year record on Dream Team, but I actually think it's true as well. For the most crashes during his first month on the team. Wait,
did he disclose that on national TV?
He did. He was pretty wobbly when we started, and he would wreck a lot. He would just not focus on his biking and ride off the trail, but every time he would get up, brush himself off, one of our medical people or support people would make sure he was okay, and then off we would go. He just has that's just kind of his attitude about life, but we're really proud of him. He's also one of the most kind members of our team. Mm-hmm. And so one of the reasons we chose Jeremiah is just because he's so charismatic, but also it's just his nature to naturally go up and start speaking with the new members of the team, offer to help them out, just make them feel comfortable, just like he did on the show with all of us. And so for all those reasons, we're really proud of him. And then Ennovy, to go out there, she's only a few weeks into the team, and talk about how she found the courage to join the team is pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm. And do you think it had a pretty big impact on them to have this experience?
Yeah, I felt like I got to watch both of them grow up during that week.
Yeah,
so proud of them, and I know it was just fun during our 72 hours in New York City to take a step back and see how proud each of their parents were about them as well, and just to see New York through their eyes.
Right. And you used to live in New York, so you're like one of the probably like the best person to go with them, right?
We had a whole schedule, tried to make it fun, not too structured. And then a couple of my friends came and joined us and helped us out. And when we needed to find a restroom in Central Park or which subway line was the fastest to get us down to Chelsea for dinner or something, my friends jumped into action and helped us out. So we had multiple tour guides for them as well. It's pretty amazing.
And then how about you after this experience? I mean, if you guys have kind of been on a worldwide media tour since then.
Right. We've had a lot of several requests for interviews this past week, which has been fun. So really what this was about was a chance to shine a spotlight on the work that Dream Team does. And, we're trying. We actually have a new chapter, a future Dream Team starting in Cedar Falls this year, which we're really proud of. But, what we hope is the outcome of being on this show is encourage people to to make a difference somehow in their lives. Help a local organization that's helping local youth. The home run would be if we could find, if Coralville or Davenport or Sioux City or Austin, Texas stepped forward and wanted to start a dream team.
Yeah.
That's our long-term vision. And who knows, maybe this will help facilitate that. We did receive, we had tens of thousands of people visit. I was looking at the numbers today on Facebook, visit our Facebook page that day. I've probably received hundreds and hundreds of messages from people around the country with kind words, and then just talking about how proud they were of our youth, of course, but also saying how they wish they could do something like that in their communities.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that this takes place here in our home state of Iowa. Okay, and we're both sitting here drinking fountain sodas. I don't know who's more obsessed with fountain soda, me or you. If AP were in here, she would probably say me, but like it's a daily. It's kind of like, there are people who have to go to a famous coffee shop every single morning. I do not do hot beverages. I have to get a fountain soda. How about you?
On Dream Team, we're blessed with an amazing support crew, better than any crew that I've ever done on any of the rides, organized rides that I've done around the world. But the secret is on our team. The not so closely guarded secret is that if the kids are on a ride with me and we're going to Newton or someplace far, that our group is secretly going to do stop at Casey's so that I can get my Diet Coke. And we have to do it discreetly, so we got to be in and out of there real quick. But I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And then what we haven't talked about is Casey's definitely came through.
Oh my gosh, this was so cool.
The biggest of surprises at the end of that show when it was announced that Casey's was stepping forward and giving a $10,000 donation to Dream Team. So Casey's joins RAGBRAI Bike World as one of our top supporters, and we couldn't be more appreciative.
And for those people who don't live in the Midwest, what is Casey's?
Casey's is
Casey's is life.
Casey's is life. Casey's is the largest general store, but they are a lot of times in the smaller communities that RAGBRAI goes through, for instance, they might be the only
like grocery
business.
Store,
right?
Yeah.
They're everything. And they also, believe it or not, are the 6th largest pizza provider in America, nationwide. People love Casey's Pizza. I know that I do. Hopefully our youth will be eating some Casey's pizzas on some of our camp out weekends and stuff like that. But how amazing. What a great coupling of two great organizations. And we have to thank RAGBRAI. Casey's has been a supporter of RAGBRAI for the last couple of years. And that introduction to Casey's was made with the help of RAGBRAI.
Wow, this whole experience has been, I'm sure, amazing for the Dream Teamers, amazing for you as the executive director. At this point, are there still volunteer opportunities within the Dream Team, or have you nailed down all the people that are part of it?
Well, there's always ways that people can help Dream Team. If somebody's, we've kind of ended our process of onboarding new mentors for this year because we want the mentors at this point on, to be around our team a lot so that every member of the team develops a relationship and builds a level of trust with every mentor on the team. But there's other ways to help too. We're always looking for people with donations. Just yesterday, 2 people contacted me with very well-conditioned or in good condition road bikes. And so we're always looking for things like that. Man, I just noticed that we are short on biking shorts for what the kids call shopping day on Saturday when they get their gear for this year. So people can donate clothing and stuff like that. And then, like I mentioned, the fundraising event that we're doing on June 28th, we have different things like that. We're always looking for people to help out with. And that would be a great way for somebody that's thinking about being a mentor and wants to learn more about our organization to maybe help with an event or a 1 or 2 off series of events so they get to know our team and then they could jump in as a mentor next year.
And you mentioned a June 28th event. How can people find out more about that?
So we are just getting organized for that. But the quickest way is just to reach out either through our website, dreamteamdesmoines.org, or through our Facebook page and just send us a note and say they're interested in helping out with Dream Team, and somebody will be back to you immediately.
And I'm assuming on that website you can also see ways to donate.
Yes, we donations are our lifeblood, and most of our donations do come from individuals. So you can donate through that as well.
Okay.
Or our Facebook page.
Okay. And one thing, you briefly mentioned Bike World, but I think something that's pretty important as Bike World is one of your main supporters, connects with cool things that are happening this coming weekend.
Yeah, so this Saturday is new bike day for our kids. Bike World is delivering all 40 brand new bikes, plus they did tune-ups of the existing bikes that our other 25 kids have. But those bikes are actually arriving tomorrow, and the kids get to get fitted for them and do their first ride on them on Saturday. And they are beyond excited about that day, of course. And Bike World, by the way, Bike World has been with us since day one. Dream Team would not exist without Bike World. Mm-hmm. Over those 20 years, Bike World has donated roughly 700 bikes to our team. Wow. And our youth get to keep the bike when they complete RAGBRAI, which most of them do. The other sponsors that has been with us from the beginning is RAGBRAI. Mm-hmm. RAGBRAI is so helpful to us. I like to say that they are like a big brother or big sister to us. Our space, so we moved around a lot in our first 26 years of existence. We were at the downtown Y. We were in the Registers building on Grand Avenue. Meredith gave us an old warehouse that we had for years. But we finally have a home, and it's all thanks to RAGBRAI. We're in the same building as them. They basically gave a third of their space to Dream Team for us to use as our headquarters, and we couldn't exist without their help as well.
And you guys have definitely made that space your own. It's awesome to walk in there.
It's we tried to spruce it up. We want it to be a safe place for our team, someplace they like to hang out. So our rides launch during the weeknights at 5 p.m. Man, we love for them to show up at 4:30 and be able to hang out and socialize and just chill a bit before we do our rides. Our biggest limiting factor, man, I'm probably going to scare the heck out of my leadership group and our board, but we're at 65 this year. I would love it if we could find a way to get it to 80 next year or in a few years or something like that. Our biggest limiting factor right now is, man, we're going to need to build an annex or something because we don't have enough space right now, but that's a long-range problem.
And before we go, I think one other plug that you should make is that you also have a podcast.
Yeah, and I also want to mention two things really quickly.
Yeah, sure.
We're really good at helping over the 28 years, and most of our mentors, I've been a mentor for 5 years, but I am one of the newer members on our team. Most of our people have been around for much longer, and they're really good, really skilled at helping our kids learn how to ride a bike. I have no fear about those 6 kids on the team that we won't be able to have them riding within a week or two. Mm-hmm. One of the issues that we want to help more on, though, is around the issue of mental health. Mm. I think if you took any high school in America right now and just randomly picked 20 or 30 kids, that a high percentage of them would struggle with it could be anxiety or depression or whatever it is. But a lot of youth today struggle with those issues. And so we've been trying to find ways that we can support our team more around that issue. Thanks to our friend Scott Olson and his employer, Merchants Bonding, and their foundation, we've been able to build out a program this year. We're doing a lot. We've been working with our mentors since January. We have almost every couple week events where we provide them tools so they can help our kids more around that.
That's amazing.
And that's pretty cool. And don't let me forget about our podcast. We're actually taping. We're in our second year.
Nice.
We're taping the tonight. We have 2 young boys from Oak Ridge Housing who are in their first season, both seventh graders, Marco and Melis, at Callanan Middle School. They are coming on our podcast to be the first guests of 2025, and we're really proud of that.
Nice. And what is the name of your podcast?
So our podcast, I'm glad you asked. Our podcast is called Moving Forward, and the podcast really is a chance we feature a member or 2 members of the team on every episode, and they come on and talk about their biggest fears, their biggest anxieties. They talk freely, and they're so self-aware for 12-year-olds. Marco is 12 years old, and he's going to talk tonight about his biggest fears in joining the team. But I don't think that he actually has any fears. That kid, even though he's about 4'7", is maybe the most confident about RAGBRAI of the 65 members of our team. But it's a fun podcast to listen to, and it's a great tool for our kids to develop skills beyond biking.
Sure. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Scott. You guys are doing all the right things. The Dream Team is expanding. I feel like everyone is going to be really successful this year.
thanks for the opportunity. You guys always give us a platform to shine a light on our program and the work that we're doing and let the community know, give them an update. I'm a huge fan of Just Go Bike podcast, and so it's a thrill. I think I got more nervous about coming on the podcast today than I did about the Kelly Clarkson Show, if I'm being honest.
Well, that's a great compliment. Thank you very much. And we'll see you on the bike trail, Scott.
Just go bike.
Well, listeners, that is it for today. We want to thank you for tuning in to listen to the Just Go Bike podcast. If you would like to contact Murph and AP with a comment about the podcast, or maybe even you have a topic in mind, you can reach us at justgobikepodcast@gmail.com. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook and watch our intros on YouTube. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast, especially if you're a fan. That is going to do it for this week. Until next time,
Just go bike.
Theme song by Ryan Steer, logo by Suzanne Milosevic, produced by Kathy Murphy, social media by Andrea Parrott, intro by Pumpkin. Until next time, just go bike.